Hey guys, what's going on? It's Dimer here, and in today's video, I'm going to be going over what is the best stat build for Peroxide. Now, I'm going to be going over and ranking each category based on what race you are, and then I'm also going to give you a full list of stats that you can choose from for your build, and obviously this is not fine cuts, so you can tweak the stats with whatever you want to fit your own build. Now, with that being said, leave a like on the video, subscribe if you're new, and enjoy the video. Alright, so if you're confused on what you should put your stats into, really quickly, I'm just going to explain what combat stats do and what combat stats are, so if you want to skip to the next section, you can go ahead and do that right now. So the basic understanding is Spirit scales 70% of your M1, so it's really weak for M1s, but it still gets you a decent job. It also scales off of Ceros, and also scales off of any Keto moves, and basically any Spirit moves in general, so for Quincy as well, for Spirit moves. And then you have Strength, which scales your M1s. It scales all the Strength moves, and it also scales your M1s really high, so if you have a full Strength build, that means you do that is why you do a lot of M1 damage. And then you have Vitality, which scales your health, and also you get +1 health per level, so no matter what, you're going to have some decent amount of health when you are maxed out. And then people are also confused, but every single time that you level up a certain amount of levels, I'm pretty sure it's 10. I'll put this on the screen from the trailer right now. Basically, when you get to a high enough level, all your stats are scaling higher and higher and higher. If you have like 300 strength, it's going to scale way higher when you're max level than when you're like your lower levels. So just keep that in mind when you're making your build. And if you're wondering why I'm not talking about Ryatsu and Agility, it's because you can max those out to 154 no matter what. So just keep that in mind as well. It does not affect your combat stats. So combat stats, you get 490 combat stats with your build. So I'm going to first rank off each and every single build with between Spirit, Strength, and Hybrid between each and every race. So I'm going to put each and every race on the screen right now, and we're going to start off ranking and where they rank in each and every single category. If you need to get your stat build and you already know what all this is and it doesn't matter to you, you can go ahead and skip to the next part of the video, which I'll just list off all the stats for you personally. Before I get to this next section, please make sure that you check out what your volt, what's your res, and what's your Shikai scale off of first before you take into consideration what I'm about to say, because all of this is relative to that. So just keep that in mind. Please go check the trailer down in the description below. And yeah. Alright, so first off, we're going to talk about a Spirit build. Now, Spirit build is going to rank #1 for Quincy builds, in my opinion. I think it's the strongest for Quincy builds. Obviously, your M1 damage is going to suffer. And then on Soul Reapers, this is going to rank last, because Soul Reapers usually have the best strength builds in the game in general. Now, in Hollows, it's going to also rank last, because I think full Spirit builds for Hollows and Soul Reapers just doesn't work, because Quincy's is kind of like the Spirit build of the whole game, in my opinion. I think it ranks last, but it doesn't mean that Spirit is bad, because you do have certain Bankais, and you do have certain res that actually work with it. Like, I'm pretty sure Astra is really good with Spirit. So if you have a certain Spirit build, you can still use the Spirit build in the battle. This is just where they rank in terms of usability and how common they are to use in your build. So that's why I'm ranking them where I rank them. It doesn't mean that they're weaker. It's just that this is where I opinionally put them. So don't go in the comments arguing like, oh, I use Astra and it's really good with Spirit build on Astra. Like, bro, like that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about in generality, like how often it is and how strong are these builds. So if you have a really good Spirit build for a Soul Reaper, that doesn't mean that you're last, okay? All right, now we're going to talk about hybrid builds. Hybrid builds are pretty weak, but for Quincy's, we're going to rank them #2, and for Soul Reapers, we're going to rank them #2. And for Hollows, we're going to rank them #1, because hybrids are really, really strong in Hollows, in my opinion, because your Cero damage scaling. And also, for Soul Reapers, hybrid builds can be really nice because of the Visored and being able to unlock a Cero, and just having that stuff unlocked. It's really, really nice. And also, Keto is really decent sometimes, depending on what moves you get in general. But yeah, that's where we're going to rank hybrids. That's just my opinion. And then now we're going to talk about strength builds. Strength builds for Quincy's has got to be last. If you go full strength on a Quincy, you are just an absolute troll, unless you have a strength-based volt, which obviously that's understandable at that point. And then we're going to talk about Soul Reapers. That is going to be #1. And then for Hollows, it's going to be #2. So it was obvious where these were going to rank. Now, this doesn't mean Strength is weak for Quincy or Spirit is weak for Soul Reaper, and this doesn't mean Spirit's weak for Hollow. It's just that how common you're going to see these builds, and how it's just going to be how usable are these builds in terms of what you have. All right, now we're down to the last part of the video, which is my favorite part of the video. These are the stat builds that me and my friend MainXZ came up with, and if you want to go subscribe to Main, you guys can do that right now. Go in the description, go sub to him. He will be making videos soon. He's not home right now. That's why he hasn't uploaded so long. But yeah, so let's go over this. So first thing we're going to talk about is full Spirit builds. So full Spirit builds on the screen right now. These are the best. You don't have to, these aren't personally ranked. I'm just listing off stats that you can use and how I would use them. So you go 350 Spirit, 140 Vitality, and 0 Strength. That's the best build I'm using on my Quincy right now. Obviously, there's kits as well, so you can put on accessories for Vitality. So you don't need a crazy amount of Vitality. And I just personally think that using over 200 Vitality is kind of troll, but unless you want to be that tanky and want to be that squishy, which I just don't think it's necessary. And then obviously you got the 300 Spirit, you got the 190 Vitality, and then the 0 Strength. And then you have the full glass cannon, which is the 400 spirit and 90 vitality and 0 strength. I really don't recommend using this build, but you can if you really want to go glass cannon, and it could be really good. I just never used it, so I don't know. But that's a really good one if you really just want to go glass cannon. Full strength stat builds, it's going to be the same thing for spirits. It's going to be 350 strength, 140 vitality, 0 spirit, 300 strength, 190 vitality, 0 spirit, 400 strength, 90 vitality, and 0 spirit. And obviously, I don't want to like go list off 10 builds for each and every single one, because honestly, you could take 20 points, 10 points from spirit, 10 points, 20 points from strength. You could mix and match these stats to suit whatever you want to do with your build. We're just giving you a blueprint and giving you a layout on what you can do with these builds. Now, for the last and final thing, this really depends on the abilities that you have and what they scale off of, because a lot of people are going to be making hybrid builds because they want to try it out. People say it's weak. I kind of half agree. It just depends on what you're using it for. Obviously, it's going to affect your M1 damage and your strength in general, but it could be used in certain things. Now we're going to talk about hybrid stats, which is number 1, 120 vitality, 270 strength, 100 spirit. 120 vitality, 100 strength, 270 spirit, 120 vitality, 185 strength, and 185 spirit, which is just completely even. 90 vitality, 200 strength, and 200 spirit, also completely even, but very glass cannon. 100 vitality, 300 strength, 90 spirit, 100 vitality, 90 strength, and 300 spirit. Those are all the stat builds for hybrids. I'll also put all of them on the screen right now for full strength, full spirit, and hybrid if people just skip to the end of the video. I personally don't care. I just wanted to give you guys this information today, in my opinion, and my stat builds that you guys can use for your build, so people can stop asking me. But there you go. There's a bunch of stat builds that you can use for your builds. Try them out. And also, don't be afraid to reset your stats, because when you reset your stats, you can also regrind them really fast. I'll show you the NPC to go to right now to reset your stats, because once you reset your stats, you get a very huge XP gain boost when you do, until you get back to where you reset from. So if you messed up your build and you want to reset your stats, and the reason I have 0 spirit, 0 strength in some of these builds, by the way, is because when you do reset your stats, it resets it to 0, so you don't have to have that 1 point into strength or 1 point into spirit. One more thing before I end off the video today, just keep in mind, this is just my opinion. You can also, you know, have different opinions and have different things that you want to do with your builds. This is just a complete, like, opinionated format that I put out just so you guys can make your builds. So don't think too much into it. I'm not trying to call out other builds or call any other builds, but yeah. But yeah, with that being said, hopefully you guys did enjoy today's video. Remember, this is just my opinion. If you have any other builds you want to put in the comments below, feel free to do so. I'm always willing to listen to other people's builds and other people's opinions. It's really fun to communicate with the community on what builds are good and what builds aren't. And with that being said, hopefully you guys did enjoy the video. If you guys did, make sure you guys leave a like, subscribe if you're new, comment down below some more ideas. I'll see you guys later, and peace out. For all the people that made it this far into the video, I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for the support on the content recently, and make sure y'all check out my streams. I do be streaming on the channel a lot, and yeah, just thank you guys so much for the support recently.